Do you have anything for the Code Red sec? Do we have any more Code Reds?
No, I think I'll just throw those in as needed.
Well, let's talk about what we saw on TV recently. Me and Sarah said that we were going to finish off. I finished watching the Chucky series, and I was hoping. I know you were a little bit behind, but you caught up. So you finished it all.
Yeah, I finished it all.
I can be able to hear you better now.
What did you think of it? Like, what did you think?
As far
as Chucky is.
I think they did a great job. I think they did a great job with Chucky. I think they did a great job expanding the lore and the whole mythology of Chucky, and the whole thing about with the way he's able to split his soul. I thought that was great.
We already knew that he could do that from like the last movie that they made. So the last movie that they made, he at least showed how he could
do it, but I didn't see the whole army coming.
But when he removed the part and he put it out there, he was still resident in that piece that he removed. So that gave you the idea of like, oh, so that, like, there could be more than one, or like at least hopping of back and forth. So he's not necessarily split his soul in a way. They're all separate entities in the way that I'm seeing it, and the way that it's presented. He has split his soul in a way that he can hop his consciousness in between.
Exactly. And that's how I take, and that's exactly how I take it as well. So theoretically, the original Charles Lee Ray could be dead, and all we're seeing are just
he's dead.
I mean all we're really seeing are just his consciousness magically just being like he could be in hell right now, just burning up and wondering.
Like it will, like depending on how you want to look at like religion or whatever. But anyway, so his original soul. So how they're doing it is his original soul. He broke it up into a bunch of bits.
Right.
Say each one of my fingers is a bit. Each bit he put into different dolls, or like he can transfer the bit into another doll, or like the one lady he transferred his bit into there.
And I'm sure Charles Lee Ray would be the middle finger, right?
Yeah. So he cannot. Well, they're all Charles Lee Ray. So, essentially, he cannot maintain his consciousness in any of the little bits simultaneously with another. So, if he's conscious over here and he's murdering people and talking to people as Chucky, he cannot be in this one talking to people and murdering people as Chucky.
That's not how that's not how I took it, because
that's definitely how I took it, because when he is Charles Lee Ray in the woman, who is a paraplegic basically and only has use of her lower legs.
You're thinking as he's Charles Lee Ray and the woman, you thinking the doll is just dead or
yes, because there are many times where the dolls are completely lit, and then all of a sudden they come back.
Well, they explained that on the second to last episode. He was for all the dolls to be alive simultaneously. He would have to corrupt one of the innocent kids to finally, kill somebody. And he tricked the cousin into being that person. Because I think it was a spell. Like he put another curse or another spell in play, and he needed one of the kids to kill somebody to activate that curse.
When he is in one of the last episodes, when that Chucky doll that he was in that originally started the whole series, that all melted in gall because they thought that they killed him, they thought that they murdered him. He ended up crawling to the other Charles doll, the Happy Charles doll, that the little sister of the one bitchy bully girl had. He went over there, he said his witchy magic, he took the soul implant that was in his current doll and moved it into that other doll. So with that, you can think of all the times in which their Chucky dolls are inanimate. So they're just literally laying there while he's doing his bidding and all. So his consciousness was not split, his soul was split. So you're assuming that with each soul split creates a fragment of his consciousness, which I'm not seeing so far in this series, because if you remember the original conversation where the young man who was making the doll sculptures, who was the son of Devon Sawa, the one that was the alcoholic that ended up dying and getting electrocuted. So that son ended up calling somebody who then maybe got murdered. We don't know what happened with that. But like as soon as he called him, he could hear him going, "Is the doll alive? Did you check the batteries?" You know, that kind of thing. And the doll that he had was often inanimate. But when the soul and the consciousness were connected, so he transported to that soul piece. So you have to think of it as like launch pads. And that's how I'm thinking of it. That's how it seems to be presented. Well, how do you?
I get it, and that makes sense. It does make sense to me. But from the way they presented it, it seemed, at least to me, it seemed that Chucky could be conscious in the doll and conscious simultaneously in the next person only, and he could maintain it simultaneously for a bit. But as the girl got a little stronger, she was able to kind of break it a little bit. But his master plan to be conscious in multiple dolls simultaneously, he wasn't strong. He is not strong enough at all without that extra help with that other curse with the corrupting one of the kids to commit a murder to activate the largest. I took it that he could be in the doll and in that girl simultaneously.
So you think
without any glitch
from every murder that he's doing, he's gaining more?
No, not every murder. No, not every murder. Because he said in the second to last episode that's why he was trying to get Jake, that is the kid's name, Jake, to kill somebody. Because the second one, remember like the original movie, the first person he reveals his secret to is the only person he could transfer his soul into to be human again.
And he did that with that one woman who's the paraplegic.
Right, and but this was a new curse to and that was similar to that original curse. But this was a new curse where he wanted to split his consciousness into an army of Chuckies. But I took it that he couldn't succeed in doing that. He said he couldn't succeed in doing it until he got one of those kids to kill someone.
See, and that same segment is what I took as that he can only be conscious. He can only hold his consciousness in the things that
you took it as one at a time, right? I took it that he could do two.
Mm-hmm. See, I didn't because if he requires the power from the consequential murders of influence, basically. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have that right now.
I think that's what that's why I think that's why he needed that boost from a kid killing someone. I feel like he could do two. He could control two, but he couldn't control more.
Consciousness for sure. Yeah. I don't think he can do two because right now all we're not seeing simultaneous action. We're seeing flipping throughs, and that's what the series is right now. Is flipping through his consciousness.
At the end of the Curse of Chucky movie, when he first met the girl in the wheelchair, and he possessed her at the end. Spoiler, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
Didn't he laugh and the doll laugh simultaneously?
No, because he split his soul into her.
Right. But
we know that happened.
I feel like he was able to split his soul one good time, but to do it for the army of dolls, I think he needed that extra boost in that curse, and that's what he said. He needed a kid to kill someone. He
split his soul into multiple dolls, as we've seen. So,
or maybe he did it so many times that he was losing control of it, and that's why he needs that extra boost.
So he split his soul multiple times that we've seen because the characters that were in the original movies came back and they were hunting down the dolls to murder them.
Right.
So
Andy.
The dolls were completely inanimate until he I guess signaled. I don't know what the magic would be, but he came back and they shot him and he was full of blood all of a sudden. Yeah. And that kind of thing. But then he still exists in the other dolls and the other places. So why would they be hunting down all the dolls that he could possibly possess if they were not trying to erase the possibility of him having soul?
I like that better though. I like the idea of him only being able to be in one doll at a time, and he can touch.
It makes a better story.
It makes
a winnable proposal.
Yeah,
it
makes it harder. It makes it harder to catch him. If they explain the curse to be something like I can curse this doll to be a vessel whenever I decide to activate, but I have to click my remote button mentally. If they make the curse like that would be cool. But if that,
That's
but
why
I
I
don't
took
like
it.
this whole. I didn't like that the end where multiple dolls were able. Then he was having a conversation with himself, and it was starting to get to the cheesy stuff.
That's unrealistic because ultimately your consciousness, as you understand it, is one entity. So
Well, if you only think, but if you think about it in cloning,
your soul. But your clone is essentially never you. Like
it's never you. It's pretty much, it's technically an offspring.
Because what you are is your consciousness, your plethora and continuum of experience, that kind of thing. So all of that has built you into the mind that you think.
Right.
I can copy my own mind, but she may not have the thought.
She'll have your clone will
built her into who I am right now.
Right. Your clone would only have everything up to the point where you copied it.
So the split of the soul allows him to I guess hop.
I want that, like,
hop from one body to another in order to be able to connect his essential consciousness to be able to control that entity at the moment.
I like that Denzel Washington movie Fallen. I want it to be something like that. That's what I want it to be.
Essentially, if you would kill all the vessels of the soul, each part of that soul would no longer be able to grab onto an existence, and that consciousness would not be able to hop to that other vessel. That's what I'm gathering from this. And eventually, if you were the heroes in this movie, if you remove all of the vessels,
burn them all. But you would never know where another doll is.
Well, there's a woman who is a vessel as well.
Yeah, that's right. They brought the doll back too.
The last episode will be, should we murder her? She obviously doesn't want to live, and she's tried to do stuff before. What is going to happen? And that's going to be the climactic moment in it, where it's like, what do we do? Can we be the killer that Chucky wanted us to be and murder this innocent human being that is then have a splinter of soul because he damned her?
Are you talking about his girlfriend Jennifer Tiffany?
No, I'm talking about the woman in a wheelchair that possesses the soul.
Well, she can't do nothing now. Tiffany cut her arms and legs off.
She's okay. She's still possessing the piece of the soul, and so until she's actually demised, until she's dead. Have we confirmed that she's dead yet?
No, she's not dead. She just amputated all of her limbs at the end.
Well, then that's a piece of soul that can still be transferred with the current magic to something else if required. My question. Essentially, they're putting that in a vault.
My question will be:
going to look at a human being for that.
My only question.
Hunters for it.
I love the fact that just like the doll not having any real bones or muscles, that Chucky can possess a paraplegic and they can walk. That to me made sense, because if he can make a doll walk, obviously it'd be almost the same thing. Not to compare paraplegics to that, but just blame it on the magic. But I didn't see that coming at the end. That the fact that, because when Jennifer was transferred from the doll to that actress's body, I mean, she's playing herself and she's playing a doppelganger. That's funny to me. But when they transferred the doll from the doll to the from her doppelganger to the doll and then she and vice versa to take over Jennifer, the actress Jennifer Tilly's life, I thought that was cool. I never thought that they would have the doll be simultaneously alive did Chucky kill Jennifer Tilly, the body? Did she kill the human version at the end? I can't remember. She's still alive, but the doll is still alive. But the doll and her are simultaneously alive.
No, I don't think the doll doesn't exist anymore. My recollection.
Did you not watch the last episode? It was the last episode. The doll is back.
No, I thought I watched the last. No, I didn't see that one. I watched the one that was recent.
The most recent episode. At the very end, the Tiffany doll is back.
Okay.
She's getting spoiled now. She didn't see it. Maybe.
I didn't see that one, but I watched.
You know what? It was. You know what? It was at the very, very end. So maybe you stopped it thinking that it was over. You probably.
Was it after the credits?
No, I think it was just before.
Okay, maybe I didn't.
But you saw that last fight with Chucky, and they tracked him. And you saw them. You saw how how Tiffany cut off the paraplegic's arms and legs at the end, right? You saw that. So if you saw that, then you should, then you probably, right after that, they introduced the doll. The Tiffany doll is back. But real quick before we wrap it up, so the whole series. Now that we try to break down the whole crazy logic of that whole thing, what did you think about it overall? Do you think this show did justice to or enhanced the franchise?
So what I love about it, and what I love about the entire Chucky franchise, is they don't remake anything. They just pile on top because it's easy to pile on top. And each time they end a franchise, no matter who's making it, no matter who owns it, they always leave space for a little something more. Mm. And that's something I love. And it's an easy thing to like. There's not a lot of, it's not a lot of crazy. It's simple. It's simple in its existence, and it's fun to watch, and it's easy to watch, and you don't have to be hung up on anything. And so I enjoy it. And I hope there's more to come. I'll be interested to see. Oh yeah,
season two was greenlit, and I 100% agree with you. There was a whole bunch of things in the Chucky lore that I was like, "There's no way in the world they're gonna bring this into this series," because that was dumb. Like the whole not the Bride of Chucky, but the what was it right after that? The Child of Chucky or whatever it was called. Yeah. But I was like, please don't bring that kid back. I know he's back in a kid's body, in another kid's body and stuff like. But when he had his moment with Jake, and when Jake explained that he was gay and everything like that, and Chucky had that heart to heart with him, like I have a son. My son is also gay. They brought it up, just like you said. I love the fact that they don't necessarily have to use everything, but they still acknowledge it. They piled it on there, and when I was against them bringing up the seed of Chucky, but the second he had that moment, I was like, okay. Now and then, after the way it ended, now I can see where it would make sense for them to bring in the seed of Chucky, the child, because he's back in a human body. He should be older by now. He should probably a man, right? Because how long ago was the seed of Chucky? Like over 10 plus years ago. 90s? No, it was in the 2000s. In the mid 2000s. So, and it was like a 10-year-old. So he's about 25 now, in a 25-year-old body at least. So they could bring him in, and the scary thing about that seed of Chucky being raised by Tiffany, you'll never see him. I bet you in season 2, you'll never know. They'll introduce a character. They'll lie and say, my name is such and such, and in the end of the season, it'll turn out to be that kid. So I'm calling it first. Whoever introduces themselves to Jake in the beginning of season 2 is probably that damn kid. I want to be your friend. Why? Why do you need to be my friend? You're Chucky's kid. Yeah. Why? Adult. Yeah. Exactly.
If some 20-something adult walks up to and be like, "Hey man, can I buy you a beer?" You'd be like, "No."
Would it be? I think it would be very poetic. I would think it would be very poetic that if the seed of Chucky is the one who kills Andy. To do something that his father could never do, kill Andy. Andy always gets the better hand, or gets it over on Chuck. But if that kid does it,
that won't happen because that couldn't. I guess happen because the new kid kind of replaces him in the series of things. But what I love about the Chucky series is the lack of ego between the people making it, and I applaud.
They're having fun with it.
I love you. You do your thing with Chucky, you end it, everybody acknowledges what happened before. It's not like, no, I'm the new director. I can't pretend like all these things happened in Chucky's past, because Chucky is his past. And that's what we love about him. He's a creepy little doll because all dolls are ultimately creepy. Let's be real. So I love it.
It was you're right. It was brilliant that they because they could have taken the easy road, which would be reboot or retcon things in the past that they didn't like. Yeah. But they decided to lean into it and retool it and make it work.
Best decision.
And at first I thought that was going to be a bad decision, but then the way they did it, talking about his son with Jake.
I was worried about it too because
they handled it perfectly.
Continuation.
I was like, all that stuff, that means if they're gonna acknowledge this, that means they're gonna have to acknowledge that, and I don't like that. But they made it work. The conversation that he had with Jake about I have a son too. Like they eased it in perfectly, very well woven.
It made it a real part of his history because ultimately it is. If you look at that Chucky character, he has all of this history, all of these years, and I like the flashback scenes, and even they did the dub overs with the actors, so they sounded the same. Even though the actor that played Charles Lee Ray was the actor that played Charles Lee Ray, so
same voice actor, Brad Dourif,
Yeah, they just tried to like age him down a little bit, which is fine, and then they put Jennifer Tilly's voice over the actress that played a younger version of who ends up being
and the guy who's playing the younger Charles Lee Ray, he does look like him a little bit too. I'll give him that.
It is him, and they just fogged him up a little bit.
You think they de-aged him? I thought that was another actor.
No, Google it.
I'm looking at the cast, but
I was watching it, and then I watched.
You're right. I don't see a. Yeah, you're right.
It's him, and they just kind of like used a.
They're using de-aging technology on a TV series. That's a waste of money.
Dude, they do that on a lot of things.
Yeah, movies mostly. I thought that technology.
No, but also Instagram. You can de-age yourself on Instagram.
They got an Instagram phone on them at all time. But guys, I loved it though. I love that. I love it. I can't wait till season 2. I think they did a real good job.
Must watch. It's not as scary as you think it is. It's not.
It's worse.
It is a bit of slasher, but there's a lot of.
When you get stabbed in the face by a dishwasher, it's exactly what you want it to be. It was
the neck. But those are short moments. It's not like it is a lot of suspense. It is a lot of anticipation, but it's everything that you want in the Chucky movies. Ultimately, Chucky was not like a bunch of slasher. It was a lot of anticipation, a lot of fright, a lot of scare, a lot of pop moments, but ultimately few little spurty blood moments. And when the blood comes, it is buckets.
What do you real quick before we go? Did you see it coming? The whole. I noticed it before, like the 4th or 3rd episode before the season finale, that I was like, he's not getting anywhere with Jake. I think he's going to move on to trying to corrupt Junior. And I'm so glad that I was right about that, because I was like, it seems like this. I'm like, this kid, he hates his cousin. All these bad things is happening to him. His girlfriend is now friends with him, and it's weird. I was like, this kid has every reason in his own mind to snap. And then when Chucky's noticed it, and it was like he was double downing the whole time. I thought that was brilliant. You thought that he was only trying to focus on Jake, but he was like, nah, I think I can get Junior too.
It's an intentional move. Obviously, as a psychopath,
he's a psycho.
He is a psychopath. He is, that narcissism and all that stuff. But so, like, as a psychopath, you try to hedge your fires. So you would focus on one individual to make the others feel less.
What do you think about
who is angry, and ultimately he wasn't
who's gettable
because he was the angry, he was excluded. They excluded him as a group, so without even him,
it was easy prey.
Exclusion. They pushed him out, saying this is unbelievable, this is not a real thing. And then when he finally pushes, he's at this point, and his mom is dying. He's learning all these things. He hates his cousin. His cousin lives with him. It was just an angry young man situation, easily moldable, because he feels so lost and put out. And
it was great writing.
That was a tactical move. Like if you look at cult behavior, that's a tactical move that they do intentionally within cult behavior, and ultimately Chucky is established.
Is a master at that. Cult. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. And real quick, Lexi, the bully girl. I said on TikTok in the middle of the season, I don't care what happens in the season finale. She's not redeemable for me. I don't care that they're friends now. After everything she did in the beginning, I don't care that she has a heart of gold with her little sister. I don't care. That when she did that mocking of Jake's father's death,
Like that is deep down personality. Something's wrong with you.
There's no way in the world.
To be somebody dying from electrocution.
Yeah, we're not gonna be friends. I don't care what her insecurity issues are. I know that that she's all messed up because the way her mom treats her and all that stuff. But I don't care. The second she would have did that to me, I'm sorry, she might not have made it if I was Jake.
No.
Jake.
She is. Yeah.
She's not redeemable.
She needs to hate other people in order to feel valid, and that's an awful.
It's gonna take a couple more seasons of her acting right for me to forgive her for that, but that's just me. But guys, let us know what you guys think about Chucky. Go check it out if you haven't. Why would you watch this binge review? You know, when we do the binge review, we're gonna talk spoilers and stuff and get deep into it. But I loved it. I can't wait to see season 2. I'm looking forward to it. And let's share your thoughts on the whole thing, and we'll keep talking about it.
No, I love it. I'm excited about it. I've really liked watching it on the Sci-Fi Channel, which you can watch the extended versions on there, so you get a teensy bit more than the other versions. But I am very excited to see the second season and his character. So I've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to what happens next.
Our supporters help make all this content possible, so make sure you check out our Patreon page so you can help us bring you the content you want.
Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Yo. Turned up on another level. Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal.